a holy, holy way.
Let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me know that love is all around me.
Let me know that love is all around me.
Oh, let my steps reveal a path of peace.
Let my steps reveal a path of peace.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Let me live in a holy, holy way.
Let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me learn from all the ways I fall.
Let me learn from all the ways I fall.
Oh, let me know that love can heal us all.
Let me know that love can heal us all.
Oh, let me share the good that's overflowing.
Let me share the good that's overflowing.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me care for those around the world.
Let me care for those around the world.
Oh, let me talk each day a little kinder.
Let me talk each day a little kinder.
Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Let me love in a holy, holy way.
Good morning. I am Marty Bacher. It's my privilege to welcome you here on this beautiful day. Thank you, Susan, and our wonderful choir. Let me love in a holy, holy way. So we are grateful to have this opportunity to be together in spiritual community, to welcome you here today. We are a community promoting a way of life that's based on universal spiritual practices and principles. And we believe that our lives are enhanced by being in spiritual community together. So we're grateful that you could be here. We're here to nurture a deep, mature experience of God through the practice of these unity principles. If you're joining us for the first time today, we want to welcome you. We hope you received a packet, and we even hope you got a gracious welcome as you came in. If not, we'll make sure that gets taken care of. We'd like you to, at this point, sit back, relax, enjoy yourself. We're just a welcoming group that wants you to feel comfortable. There are many things taking place in our community at any given moment in time.
Deep breath. Feel the Spirit that is in this place. And may my words be your words this morning, for we know that word becomes flesh and it is made manifest. The mighty power of the Christ Spirit permeates this place now, filling every soul here present and those watching virtually. This power fills our beloved Reverend Marty with divine wisdom, which he speaks. Every heart who hears is open to receiving the truth that is spoken. We see this masterful Spirit filling our beautiful choir director, Patricia, guiding her direction of the choir, creating music of which the angels will be envious. Clarity fills Devon and Alan as they assure that this word is heard both here in this sanctuary and in the virtual world. Those who support this service as ushers, hospitality, and in the bookstore are filled with love, making all who enter our doors feel welcome. We affirm all of this as being true, and it is so. Please join me in saying, and so it is. And so it is.
This morning's reading and meditation comes from an author that's unknown, who apparently did a lot of work. I've read a lot of his or her stuff. So I invite you just to close your eyes and rest into these words, see if they don't have meaning for you today. Since we enter into this season of faith, I thought this might be an appropriate passage. One day I decided I wanted to quit. I wanted to quit my job, my relationship, my spirituality. I wanted to quit my life. I went to the woods to have one last talk with the god or goddess. And I said, "Can you give me one good reason not to quit?" The answer surprised me. "Look around. Do you see the fern and the bamboo?" "Yes," I replied. "When I planted the fern and the bamboo seeds, I took very good care of them. I gave them light. I gave them water. The fern grew quickly from the earth. Its brilliant green covered the floor. Yet nothing came from the bamboo seed. But I did not quit on the bamboo. In the second year, the fern grew more vibrant and plentiful. And again, nothing came from the bamboo seed. But I did not quit on the bamboo. In year 3, there was still nothing from the bamboo seed. But I would not quit. The same in year 4. Then, in the 5th year, a tiny sprout emerged from the earth. Compared to the fern, it was seemingly small and insignificant. But just 6 months later, the bamboo rose to over 100 feet tall. It had spent the 5 years growing roots. Those roots made it strong and gave it what it needed to survive. I would not give any of my creations a challenge it could not handle. Do you know, my child, that all this time you have been struggling, you have actually been growing roots? I would not quit on the bamboo. I will never quit on you. Don't compare yourselves to others. The bamboo had a different purpose than the fern, yet they both make the forest beautiful. Your time will come. You will rise high. I ask, how high should I rise? How high will the bamboo rise? As high as it can, I answered. Yes, give me glory by rising as high as you can. I left the forest, realizing that the divine will never give up on me and will never give up on you. We should never regret a day in our life. Good days give us happiness. Bad days give us experiences. And both are essential to life. As we move into this time, consciously cultivating our faith, we remember that we draw upon resources that cannot be seen to the outer world. For there is an inner spiritual dimension that is truly the one life that expresses in, through, and as us. Through the ages, the masters have taught us to place our faith in this divine unseen, more than what can be seen, felt, and touched. So we give thanks this day. We give thanks that there is a divine intelligence that is immediately available to us. We give thanks that there is one loving presence that expresses itself in us, in everyone. We give thanks for the many blessings in our life. And on faith, we move forward. And so it is. So I invite you to stand and join me to read our affirmation, and then to remain standing for our congregational song. Today, I sow seeds of faith. I carefully tend the garden of my own mind. I choose thoughts of love, harmony, and peace. I cultivate an environment of joyful expectation. Today, I sow seeds of faith.
Inherited
and life was nothing but an awful storm. But now I know the meaning of true love. I'm leaning on the everlasting arms. If I can see it, then I can do it. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I think about it every night and day. I spread my wings and fly away. I believe I can soar. I see me running through that open door. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly.
See, I was on the verge of breaking down. Sometimes silence can seem so loud. There are miracles in life I must achieve. But first I know it starts inside of me. Oh, if I can believe it, then I can be it. If I just believe it, there's nothing to it.
I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I think about it every night and day. Spread my wings and fly away. I believe I can soar. I see me running through that open door. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly.
If I can see it, then I can be it. If I just believe it, there's nothing to it. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky.
I think about it every night and day. Spread my wings and fly away. I believe I can soar. I see you running through that open door. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. I believe you can fly. We 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 believe you can
I'm ready to fly. How about you?
That's about everybody.
That's right. Beautiful. Lawrence, Susan, choir, fabulous. Thank you. It is. So I took a whole week off. Crazy. Yes. Yeah. So I was How was Sally, by the way? Did you love Reverend Sally? Yeah. Yeah, I was pleased to come back and still have my name on the door because, But one little secret, I know she didn't want the job, so that's good. That's good to know. No, it's really wonderful. It's wonderful to introduce you. Sally and I have been prayer partners for a long time, and so we know each other's good stuff and our not so good stuff. We have the full picture, the light and the dark, and it's a beautiful thing. This month we are moving into an idea around cultivating faith. And I remember when I first started in this whole teaching, some 30-some years ago, and I enrolled in a class, and I was intrigued by this idea. And the idea was that we had a power available to us at all times that we could use. And yet we had to develop the faith, not necessarily in the power, but in our own selves as capable of using that power. And I remember saying to the minister at the time, so this faith you speak of, where do you get it? Is there like a faith store or, because I don't seem to have it. And he said, oh, my child, no, he didn't say my child, but I could tell he was thinking it. He said, we all have faith. It's just a quality of who we are. You think about it, we jump in these massive machines that weigh thousands of pounds and drive down the road and don't even think twice about these other cars that are whisking by us, right? We assume that they are going to play by the same rules. Every once in a while somebody doesn't, and then there's an accident. But in general, when you think about how often it all works, we have faith in that. So faith is not something that we have to go find, but faith is something that we need to develop, that we need to pay attention to what we are being faithful to. You see, the great realization for me that also happened in this same class and continues to realize over and over and over is that we live in a universe that is based on spiritual law, that is based on universal spiritual principles. Those principles are at work all of the time, and good for us that is so. This is not a chaotic universe. This is not a sporadic universe. Gravity today, no gravity tomorrow. It's every day you get up and it's still there. It's a good thing, right? It makes life just, there's certain things you can count on. And so that is the nature of the universe. As a child, I grew up believing in a concept of God that rewarded some and punished others. And I always wondered, how do you get on the A list? How do you get on the good side? And so we have, over the years, we've developed patterns of understanding God and practices, and sometimes we call those religions. And sometimes in those religions, we sort of forget what the original message was. Right? So we develop a set of beliefs that say, this is so, this is so, this is so. And then many of us have had a crisis of faith when those beliefs that we believed to be true were disrupted. Some of you are in this room because you went in search of something that made more sense, or you came into a new understanding. So we often use the terms belief and faith interchangeably. And as I've been thinking about this, they really are two very different things. Belief is something you develop. And so we often talk about belief systems. We all know by evidence of the facts, by our minds tell us that there is a horizon. And at the end of the horizon, the world ends. So don't get too close, lest you fall off. Right? We all know that. The world's flat. No? Did something change? There's some breaking news I'm not aware of? Oh yeah, there's Galileo, right? Because we think about the world, and when the world believed, or when the consciousness of the world believed Earth was flat, it didn't matter whether it was flat or not. People acted as if it was. You see, all of us have had that experience where what we believed to be true got shattered. Sometimes it was beliefs about ourselves. So much of the work we're doing, I find the inner work that I'm constantly doing is re-examining the beliefs that I hold. Is this true? Is it really true? What if it weren't true? What would be possible? See, I like to ask myself that from time to time. What if I believe to be what is so is true, and I was to believe it's not true? What else might be possible? What if a 60-year-old dude can only do this or that or the other thing, right? Now, you'll have to fill in your own blank. I'm the 60-year-old dude, in case you were wondering, right? But I sometimes find myself declaring my limitation, announcing and proclaiming. And the universe says, cool, I'll do that. In fact, that's kind of easy. Limitation's easy. It's the big stuff that I got to go to work at. So, right? Because we thought it to be so, and it became so for us. Then we believed that it was true because now we have not only a belief, but we have evidence. I remember speaking to a woman who had been married 4 times, going on her 5th. And she had a fear that this might look like the previous ones, which were not pleasant. And we got to delve deeply into that. And I said, well, how have you changed? She gave me the same look you just gave me. She was like, I don't know what she was thinking, right? How have you changed? Because you see the misconception that many of us go through life thinking that if we can just find the right, fill in the blank here, job, partner, whatever, then we're going to be happy, we're going to be fulfilled, we're going to be in love, we're going to be all those things. So as we delved into that conversation, and I knew she had changed, she'd been doing some deep work, and as we had this conversation, she realized that she had fundamentally changed, that she had really re-examined those beliefs that she held to be true about relationship, about men, about all of those things. So she was now ready to attract into her life experience that which was representative of the new belief. And so they did move forward, they married, and they're still married, so I'm happy about that. It's been a wonderful thing. And of course, not happily ever after, they were humans. They still had stuff to work through, right? But she had changed, and in her change, she now attracted something that was representative of the person she was now. Now, that little voice in her head said, but I've always been, right? And she had evidence. So we had to let go of the past, that just because what has happened before doesn't mean it has to happen again. We don't have to move forward. So belief, when I came across a wonderful writer, her name's Rhea Nolan Martin, and she was talking about this idea that belief is a product of the mind, but faith is not. She says that faith is a product of spirit. The mind interferes in the process of faith more than it contributes to it. I know, that's what I said. She didn't use my name, but I knew who she was talking to, right? The mind interferes in the process of faith more than it contributes to it. To have faith in the worst of times will no doubt require us to silence or at least quiet the mind. You see, so belief and faith are not the same things. We have belief. We hold beliefs. We even, when we're involved in a religion, we even have a statement of faith. Yes. I was in a church a while back, quite a while ago, and I was now a full-blown new thought person, I was all enlightened. And, really, I'd hate to just say it right here, but, I've been going on. I figured out how the universe worked. I knew I was powerful. And then as part of this ceremony, it was a big, I think, Episcopal thing, with the hats and the robes and the whole deal. And they did this creed, the Nicene Creed. And I sat there and went, wow, I don't believe any of that. Now, if you do, it's good. We're cool. I'm not, but I just sat there. But here was the interesting thing. I had a reaction to it. Not only did I not believe that anymore, I was like having a visceral reaction to something that clearly was unresolved within me. And so I realized I have work to do. Not only have I changed, but I need to make it okay, right? I need to make it okay. So it was nothing against them, but it was just that realization. Now I can go anywhere and listen to anything, right? I think everybody has the right to believe what they want to believe, and I'll keep doing what I do, and let's celebrate, and God is only here to bring us closer together. But our statements of faith, our statements of belief, sometimes then become the limitation. So if we want to expand our life, we've got to expand our capacity to believe. And so this draws upon this idea. She goes on to say that faith is what happens when our beliefs run aground. The Spirit can be buoyed by our beliefs, but can also be brought down by them when they prove inadequate, as they most certainly will at some point in the journey. When we talk about these faith crises, or when we talk about the dark night, it is those moments what we have believed to be true somehow no longer happens, no longer is evident, which is a rich and wonderful place. If we properly understand it, we can move into a deeper awareness and a deeper understanding of who we truly are and what is possible now. She goes on to say, and I love this, she says, since faith is conceptual until it is put into play, it is best achieved through commitment. Oh, it's best achieved through commitment. To commit to faith is not the same as committing to a set of beliefs. It is not about reciting the creed. It is a commitment to having God as our source, however you define God, whatever you choose to have that be. And knowing does not create faith, she says, unknowing does. Isn't that wonderful? That really in the emptiness is where we get to declare again, anew. You'll often hear me talk about the hero's journey. In fact, at some point before too long, we're going to do some workshops, because what I find is really when we go through that death experience, when we go through the supreme ordeal, as Joseph Campbell calls it, when we go through that life-changing process and we must go through the tunnel, it is only on the other side that we find who we are. And so we go through that period of emptiness so that we might be awakened to something greater. And when we return, as Joseph Campbell says, when we return to the ordinary world, we don't return as the person that left, we return as the master of two worlds. Our work, my friends, I believe, as spiritual human beings, is to get that relationship right. For me, I saw myself as a human being. Actually, I saw myself more as a human doing, right? It was all about getting things done, right? And then the journey, I knew there was something more, but I didn't know what that something was. And then as my spiritual journey unfolded, I began to connect at a deeper level. And I began to understand the words of Jesus and other masters at a deep, profound level as not something that they did some 10,000 years ago, but what is possible today, who I am today. When I look at the master teacher, he speaks to us a lot about faith, that it is our faith that makes us whole. And so I began to understand that I am a spiritual being, housed in human form. And ultimately, when I depart from this human form, I will still be a spiritual being, right? We know that at some deep intrinsic level, that we are more than these physical bodies, that we are more than the world around us. So getting the relationship right is not that we put away with all human things. I'm not going to do that human stuff anymore, right? I'm just not going to deal with money anymore because I'm all spiritual, right? Or whatever, right? But recognizing that the spiritual self is creating the way for the human self to experience this existence. And that this immutable law that has always worked and will always work continues to work. And if we will but change the mold we insert, we can have a different experience. So when we talk about having faith, ultimately we're talking about having faith in something greater than ourselves. You see, we do it all the time unconsciously. I bet not one of you today got up and said, wow, I got to remember to keep my heart beating. And how many times, Patricia, you're a nurse person, how many times does a heart beat in any given minute? Many times. Excellent. Really spoken from a high medical level. I hope my heart will remember to beat many times today. As my lungs are breathing, as the blood is coursing, I got to, that's a lot to keep track of. And you're worried about your cell phone plan. right? All that's taking place so you can worry about your cell phone plan, right? So when we come back to it, we go, of course there's something bigger than I am. There's something that created my life. There's something that keeps me alive. There's something going on here. Maybe I should trust that. Just saying. Maybe. And so when we begin to put our faith in that, we then move to the next level that we first realize, one, we're not separate from it. Wasn't that a surprise for you when you found out God wasn't out there, but everywhere present, living itself in and through and as you? And then, if that is so, then it is creating through me. And so, this thing that I want, insert in the blank here, love, money, joy, happiness, whatever, is not something that exists outside of myself. Isn't that crazy? It's not something that exists outside of myself, except to the degree that I believe it is separate from me. So when I recognize, now there's the spiritual quality, and then there's the physical manifestation. So when we begin to realize that abundance is a spiritual quality, then we are abundant right here, right now. Then we attract into our experience things that are representative of that abundance, money being one of them. Right? But when we are confused about that, we think that if we bring more money into our experience, we'll be more abundant. Now, I don't blame you. Everything you've ever watched on TV has told you that, right? When you find Mr. or Ms. Right, you're going to be happy. You're going to live happily ever after. There's a belief that went away pretty quickly, huh? There's one that went aground, as they like to say, right? No. Charles Fillmore, when he's talking to us in his wonderful book on prosperity, the 3rd chapter is all about faith. And he says, and I know he'd say it differently today, so humanity, being like God, must also base his or her creations on faith as the only foundation. Here then is our starting point in building prosperity consciousness and making our world as we would have it. We all have faith, for it is innate in every person. Our question is how we may put it to work in our affairs. What is the relationship between our faith and substance of form? And he goes on to teach. So he says, Jesus gave us our best understanding of faith when he described Peter as a rock and asserted that his church, the ecclesia, or called out ones, was to be built with this rock or faith as its sure foundation. Upon this rock, upon this faith, I will build my church. Upon this faith, I will build my life. Upon this faith, I will build all things. The foundation, he goes on to explain to us, is not one built on sand, but a firm, solid foundation. You see, if we don't move to that place of awareness and understanding, where Spirit is the basis for our faith, then we're still living in a hopeful world. All you Obama supporters, don't shoot me on this, but hope is not enough. Love Obama, by the way, right? In fact, I heard a great spiritual teacher one time say, give up hope and get on with your life, right? Because sometimes hope is that wishful thinking, right? When knowing is where it's at. Having the faith is where it's at. Because when you have faith in the unseen, you will do things that may even be scary to your little mind. You will move forward. You will take chances. You will take risks. You will move into a new awareness. And one of the ways you know you're moving forward is your friends are going to think you're crazy. If they didn't already, now they're certain. I remember having this conversation with a friend of mine, sweet, sweet gal, good Mormon gal from Utah. And so she's like, okay, you're moving to Charlotte. I said, yes. And she said, you have family there, right? No. I said, you know people, you have friends there, right? I said, I'll make friends. It was just like, it does not compute, right? Now, she's a very faithful woman, but she likes things to be the way they are. She likes that structure. She liked that. But she did understand, as we talked further, that there is something pulling, pushing, drawing, forcing me forward. And to ask for prayer and to get an answer and then to disregard the answer would not make sense to me, right? Now, I do that, just so you know. I often pray to God, God, show me the way. The way is shown. I'm like, no, not that way. No, let me rephrase. Let me re-ask that question. God, show me the easy way. Show me the way where I don't have to change at all and just get my goods, right? That's the way I'm looking for. It's like, sorry, just like as I said to that gal, how have you changed? What have you done to make that which you desire welcome in your life? Right? Some of us do this. I have to use both hands. This is so good. Some of us do this. You check this out. You with me? Right? Do you know what to do? And the universe is going, I'm so confused right now. You say you want this, and then everything you do and say over here looks different. I am so confused.
That's awesome.
So we all want to learn to do that. In fact, stand up and do this with me. Just for fun. Shake it out. Isn't that a good one? Okay. Bring it on, God.
Bring it on, God.
There you go. Good job. Thank you. Right? But that's a clear message to the universe. The universe now knows what to do. Thank you. It's like, all right. There's a great little talk here. I'll have to give one of these days. Does that make sense? That we have the faith. We have faith. It is a quality. It is one of the powers of humanity, as Charles would say today, right? But we have to be very conscious that we are living in a universe that is on all of the time. That is responding to our thought, our word, our action, our belief, all of the time. In fact, I've often said, the way I'm going to make my gazillion dollars is to find some device that turns off universal law for even a moment at a time. Right? Wouldn't you buy one of those? I know, right? It's like, I just want to turn the universe off for a moment while I whine and complain, and then I'll turn it back on and I'll be all happy and loving again. If anybody's got any ideas on that, talk to me afterwards. We could make a fortune, right? But it doesn't. It says yes to us all of the time. And so we must be mindful of what we are building our life on. Jesus said, on this rock, I will build my life. On the rock of faith, on the rock of believing in this greater life that can handle all things, that is greater than who I am, but is exactly who I am. It is upon this rock that I build my church. It is this rock that I build my life. Join me in prayer as we simply move into that awareness, into that understanding that right here, right now, we are divine beings. There is nothing to achieve, there's nothing to get, there's no place to go, but it is right here, right now, as we open our hearts to the presence of unconditional love, our minds to divine wisdom, and we know that we live, move, and have our very being in this divine presence. And as we do so, we accept our divine inheritance, that all of those spiritual qualities we desire are already ours. Joy, harmony, peace, wisdom, abundance. This is our divine birthright. And so in this moment, we willingly and joyously release, gently and lovingly, we release those limiting beliefs that no longer serve us, those worn out ideas, those mistakes. We forgive ourselves fully and freely in this moment. We accept that the universe is saying yes to us right now, delighting in its self-expression through us and as us. And so we claim for ourselves wholeness. And we know that that wholeness reveals itself as health and well-being and vitality. We claim for ourselves abundance, for we know that we live in an abundant universe. We joyously give and graciously receive of the divine bounty. We know that love indeed is the only reality. And so in this moment, we choose love. We choose to see ourselves as the divine sees us. We choose to see others as the divine sees them. How blessed we are to know this truth, to live from this awareness. And so as I'm speaking this realization of our blessedness, I simply bless this spiritual community, this divine idea unfolding. I know all that is necessary for its fulfillment is already provided. I extend that blessing to our brothers and sisters around the planet. For I know that there is but one life, one race, which is the human race, one presence, one power. And so I'm accepting a world that works for all. I'm accepting a planet at peace. And as always, I bless all priests, rabbis, ministers, teachers of all faiths, of all traditions. For I know where two or more are gathered in the sacred I am, life is there, and it is good. So in joy and gratitude, I give thanks this day for all of the blessings, both seen and those yet to be seen. And I give thanks for these immutable laws operating upon the consciousness we've established here to bring forth the highest good for all. It is with joy and with gratitude that I simply give thanks and allow it to be so, as together we say, and so it is. Amen.
Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day.
Oh, happy day.
When Jesus washed.
When Jesus washed.
Oh, when he washed.
When Jesus washed.
When Jesus washed.
When Jesus washed.
He washed my cares away.
Oh, happy day.
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 When Jesus washed.
When Jesus washed.
Oh, when he washed.
When Jesus washed.
Oh, when he washed.
When Jesus
way. Oh, happy day. He taught me how to wash, love, and pray. Oh, happy day. And live rejoicing every day. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Oh, when Jesus washed. Oh, when he washed. Oh, when he washed my cares away. Oh, happy day. He taught me how to wash and to love and to pray. Oh, happy day. And live rejoicing every day. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Oh, when Jesus was. Oh, when he was. Oh, when he was. He washed my cares away. Oh, happy day. 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 Happy day.
Mr. Lawrence Tolliver and our wonderful choir. Yeah. Good. All right. Wow. Whew. Okay, you've been to church today. You know you've been to church. Church, right? Someone say it right. So, now that you're comfortably seated, I'd like to invite you to stand for our affirmicize. We're going to affirmicize today. We'll do that next week, and then we'll sing the peace song, and then we'll have lunch together. So I hope you can join us for potluck today. We're grateful you're here. Thank you for being a blessing in my life. So, see the words on the screen? Pay no attention, as they say, as the Jedi say. Pay no attention to the words on the screen. Do and follow me. Something magnificent is happening through me right now.
Something magnificent is happening through me right now.
It is happening through my mind.
It is happening through my mind.
Through my body.
Through my body.
Through my affairs.
Through my affairs.
I think it.
I think it.
I believe it.
I believe it.
I accept it.
I accept it.
I rejoice in it.
I rejoice in it.
I name it good and very good.
I name it good and very good.
Thank you, God.
Thank you, God.
And so it is.